And good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. It's actually sports night tonight on the Pete Mezzetti Show, and my guest this evening is Jim May, who is the Brantford boys lacrosse coach. Coach.
What's up, brother?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
I was going to say, it's been a while. Last time you and I saw each other, I think we were on a lacrosse field together.
We were. We were. How was that outcome?
I don't remember. I think we had a couple laughs, though.
There were a lot of laughs and a lot of goals for both teams.
Exactly. I think so. So how long have you been the boys lacrosse coach for Brantford?
This is my 11th year.
Wow. You like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So how'd you get involved in coaching?
There was a place called the Daily Grind in Brantford where Tommy's Tanning is currently. And Frank Barron, who is now my assistant, hired me back in '96. We went for a cup of coffee. We knew some mutual folks in Massachusetts where I'm from. Yeah. And he says, "You're hired on the spot." And that was ever since then. It's been great.
Yeah. Let's talk about Frank Barron for a few minutes of exactly who he is, because from what I understand, that he is still recovering and doing well.
He's doing very well.
Good.
But he'll tell you that. Okay. He's always going to tell you he's doing well.
Right.
Frank is the type of man that doesn't complain at all, ever, no matter what situation he's in. Right. And that's a huge plus for me, having him, on my sidelines, having him as one of my brothers, one of my closest friends. Right. Everything he does is really second to none. Yeah. He's my mentor. He's everything that I've needed since I've been to Connecticut. I've known him, and he's helped me a lot along the way.
He was a great guy. He's still a great guy. I met him because what my audience doesn't know is the way you and I are connected with each other is obviously you coach for Brantford. I'm on the coaching staff for Morgan. So like you say, we're one big, happy, dysfunctional family. You might say.
It could be, at times we're dysfunctional. I don't know if I would want to say that. Parents write that down in their notebooks, right?
Nah, but we're a fun family.
I would say it's a huge brotherhood.
It is a huge brotherhood.
Big time.
It is.
Naturally coaching with Chris Highland back in '96 as assistants to Frank Barron. That's when I first met Chris. And I think his youngest son, Paulie, was just maybe 2 or 3 years old. Yeah. And we've been best friends, that whole family and I, ever since. It's what an unbelievable brotherhood that we've had.
And I guess.
And now you're in it.
I know. Now I'm in it. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Matter of fact, Brendan Highland, who is the Morgan boys lacrosse coach, I was with the other day because he also coaches football with Pete and I for Morgan, and I'm doing social media for them. So it's like we're all one big brotherhood and one big happy family.
You're everywhere. You're everywhere.
I know. I'm all over the place during the off season. So how influential was Chris Highland to your career?
Chris Highland and I, the very first day I met him, he came off. Now he's a construction, hardworking type man. Yes. So he come off. He had jean shorts on, boots, and a tank top, and a funny-looking hat. Now the Highlands wear a lot of funny-looking hats. Yes. And the first thing he said to me, he goes, "You're from Massachusetts, aren't you?" And all I said was hello, and he must have got that accent. He goes, "You're going to be okay in my book." He goes, "But do me one favor. You pay attention to your guys, I'll pay attention to my guys." And I was thinking, I'm like, maybe we're off the wrong foot here. Yeah, right. And he goes, "Can you take a joke? Everything's going to be all right." And he patted me on the back, and ever since then, everything has been great. Wow. He got me going, though, right away.
He did.
I didn't know. I was like, oh, my God, where do I stand here? Because he was a Hand alumnus, so I didn't want to step on any toes.
Exactly. So and I've learned this over doing lacrosse last season. It's a fun sport. It's a quick sport. It's a quick game.
Very quick.
It is. It's a very quick game, but coaching's a lot of fun because you see on the sidelines things that I'm assuming you don't see up in the stands.
I would say you might see them from the stands, but you definitely don't hear what's going on.
Exactly.
I've coached a lot of different sports over my time, and this is the sport that I've had the longest tenure in. It's 24 years.
Wow.
And it's just great after the fact. The kids coming back after the fact, and you know, some of them actually have named their sons after me, which God bless them. Some of them have, you know, or most of them, weddings and baptisms, etc. over the years. Yeah. And that right there, to me, is truly what it's all about. I love it.
Exactly. Now, how'd you guys finish out the season? How'd you guys do?
We ended up 10-6 in the regular season. Okay. Then we finished 11-7.
Okay.
We won one, lost one. It's a lot of tough. Class M is tough.
It is.
Waterford beat us in the second round. Down the line, we would have had to face a Hand or a New Fairfield, which probably best for us that we got beat earlier. Although I don't want to say that. I want my kids to win championships every year. Just like every other coach.
Yeah. So you've been with Brantford lacrosse for how long?
11 years.
11 years? Have you won a championship in the
We have won one and we have lost one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as you and I also have another mutual friend through the lacrosse family of brotherhood, and that would be Coach Atkins.
Coach Atkins, the best. He's the one who gave Frank, myself, and Chris a shot after we were done at Hand at Brantford.
Yeah.
That was 2000. Thank God for that.
Yeah,
definitely. Because I'm still coaching today because of him.
I know you are.
I would not be, well, I'm not going to say I would not be coaching, but I probably wouldn't be in Brantford, which is nice because that's where I live. That's where my kids go to school. So.
Exactly. Brian's a great guy. I had a chance to meet Brian Atkins during we actually scrimmaged them at the beginning of lacrosse season. We had a scrimmage down there with them, and what a classy guy. Very humble, very classy, just an all-around great man.
How'd that score go?
We scrimmaged, so we weren't keeping score.
Oh, no score.
We weren't keeping score. But you guys played Morgan this year.
We did.
How'd that score go?
To be honest with you, I want to say.
I was going to say, I don't remember.
I want to say 16-8. I want to say maybe somewhere in that realm.
Yeah, probably.
It was, you know, or 16-10. There was a lot of goals.
There was a lot of goals.
The goalie was not. It didn't look like the goalie was in either net that day.
No.
It's a lot of goals being scored. But
exactly.
The fans love that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh totally. And like I said to you before we started taping tonight, it's a fast-paced sport. It's not like twiddle your thumbs. It's like you got to watch the ball, watch the game.
Absolutely.
Because those lacrosse balls are not soft like tennis balls.
No, they're more like a baseball.
Those things hurt.
They do a lot.
I was going to say those things probably hurt. I was talking to Brendan Hyland during the season, and we actually ran across the Morgan girls lacrosse coach, where they were doing a practice as well. We were divided in the gym. They were on the other side of the gym. Girls lacrosse is a totally different sport than boys lacrosse.
I still don't understand it.
I know. I can't figure it out.
I've been watching it for 24 years, and I still don't understand it.
I said to Brendan, I'm like, what is this? He's like, it's girls lacrosse. I'm like, it's a lot different than boys lacrosse. He's like, yes. I'm like, why? He's like, because that's the way the sport was invented and created. I'm like,
when I say that to our girls,
yeah,
the girls' head coach, who I used to coach when she was a young girl at camps,
yep,
she tells me, yeah, it's a lot different. We win championships because they've just won 2 in a row. So she gives me a little twist there.
Yeah, that's right.
She gives me a little twist. I'm like, okay. But it's good. It's great exposure for the school.
It is.
They support us. We support them. So I don't, would I appreciate winning the championship every year? Sure.
Of course you would.
But making the playoffs 22 out of the 24 years that I've coached has been a blessing. I don't know how many. I know I have more wins than losses. I guess that's somewhat all that matters.
Exactly.
But really, the relationships that I've gathered with my assistant coaches, my fellow coaches, and my players, are unbelievable to me. Unbelievable.
Like you and I say, we're lacrosse coaches, yes, but we're also like a family.
Yes.
We're also like a band of brothers, which is always a nice thing, because we all knit well together in the group of camaraderie off the season, off the field. It's like we're all a big happy family, you might say.
Exactly. It never ends.
No.
So I know a lot of coaches will go from March to June, and then you don't really see them until the next March.
Right.
It's not like that for people like yourself and I, the Highlands, the Barons, the Adkins.
Right. So how is Frank Barron? How's he doing?
He goes like once or twice a week to get chemo.
Okay.
You know, he's always very positive. He's always telling me he's doing great. I go and I'll see him face to face, and he's battling. Pancreatic cancer is no joke.
No, it's not.
Unfortunately, that's how my father passed. So I'm
know.
kind of getting it. My father passed roughly around the same age that Frank is now. So that's, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing to remember, and then try to hold yourself to be strong for your brother. You know.
Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back.
You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Find support for your strength. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Jim May from Brantford Boys Lacrosse. Jim, welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
Welcome back, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Not a problem. So we were talking about, during the break, Frank Barron and exactly who Frank Barron is. Let's talk a little bit more in depth about Frank, about his career, and give people more of an in-depth about what a great guy Frank is.
Frank has been coaching for about 47 years. I don't want to say my age, but that's older than myself.
Yes.
And he started out coaching, because there was no lacrosse back then when he played. He's an East Haven grad.
Okay.
So Coach Krisoff, he played for football, but he went to Defiance College. That's where he started his lacrosse career. Came back, coached a little bit as a GA at Fairfield U when he took his master's. Then he went right to hand as a teacher and coached whatever year he started at hand until he came to Brantford in 2000 with myself and Highland, before Highland went over to Morgan and started that program. Frank's married, beautiful wife Becky, his son Greg, who also had a stint with cancer and leukemia and beat it while he was at Bucknell. Wow. He's a med student, now he's a fourth-year resident.
Wow.
So he's doing a heck of a job.
Good for him.
And Frank basically lives his life through his wife, his son. He's a cat lover, which drives me crazy. I like to break his stones.
Yeah.
And lacrosse. He's truly the father of Connecticut lacrosse. There's an award named after him that we give to somebody each year.
Okay. Called
the Frank Barron Award. Just basically an award for someone who, exemplifies what lacrosse is all about,
I'll never forget the first time I met Frank this past season. we were in Brantford. We played you guys. Remember this?
Yep.
And we were all together, and Frank was set up on the field, and Brendan Highland. We all went over, shook his hand.
Along with your boys.
Yes, along with the boys.
And we talk about that all the time.
And then the coaches came over, and I remember I was standing with Chris and Brendan, Chris Highland and his son Brendan, who's our boys lacrosse coach, and Frank looks at me. He's like, "You keep company with these guys?" I'm like, "I do." He's like, "They're a great group of people," and he shakes my hand. What a nice guy. What a very genuine, very respectable. What a great guy.
That was the first game that he came to all season for us.
Really?
He was unable due to his ailments.
Yeah.
And the circulation, and he has no cartilage in either hip, so he's really, but he can't get any of these things done until all this other stuff is taken care of.
Yeah.
Until the mass in the pancreas is shrunk, and until different circulation issues come about. But he told me that night,
Yeah.
he shed a tear. He goes, the Highlands, Coach Mezzetti,
yeah,
Dennis, all those guys are a class act, and I appreciate what they did tonight. I said, well, remember, you're the one who brought us into what we do here today, So,
exactly.
Remember that we're a part of you. So
exactly.
he thought that was pretty cool. And it was nice to see him, we talk every day, but he's never on the practice field.
Nope.
And he was only there at that one game, and then he was able to make 2 more games afterwards.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah. Now, speaking of lacrosse and rules, I saw a post not long ago that the NCAA changed one of the rules that actually you liked.
A shot clock.
Let's talk about it.
The shot clock.
I saw this. I'm like, what is he doing?
Well, the shot clock is going to be, you have 60 seconds.
Yeah.
That tells me that there's going to be a lot of goals or a lot of, sporadic shooting, so to speak. I'm sure the balls are going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And, if it's, I guess they're saying as long as it leaves your stick, so there's going to be some shots that are probably pretty far away, you know, unreasonable at times. But it's not in high school yet. We're usually a year behind college.
Okay.
That I've noticed over the last 24 years. But I think it's a good rule, especially teams that, unfortunately, there's going to be teams that might have beaten you at one point 15-1, and now a couple teams might have 30 goals. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be good for lacrosse or not, but as we say as coaches, listen, if as long as the first stringer's not scoring the 30th goal,
yeah, right.
If the kids that have practicing hard all week are scoring the 25th to 30th goal,
you're good.
Then that's on you to stop them. Listen, you have a goalie in the net. You have defense in front of you. You got to do your jobs, man. Exactly. And that's what we talk about. And don't hang your head.
No.
You're going to be on the other end of that at some point, and we are in Brantford. We're on the other end of that at some point. We try not to. We have a rule, unless it's necessary, not to score more than 19 goals, no matter what, ever.
Wow.
We have done it twice, only because the team has gotten up to 13 and 14 goals, and we were not satisfied, or
right.
we weren't really sure of ourselves. So there's a couple times over the 24 years we've scored 22 and 21 goals, but for the most part, our rule is 19.
My God, holy cow!
You just don't want to. You don't want to rub things in. You don't
want to.
Because
beat somebody 22-6, and it's like, yeah.
It always comes back.
Of course it does.
It always comes back.
Of course, yeah, it does.
And I've lost once 26-1, and the coach on the other side. I said, "Was that necessary?" He said, "Just take your medicine. Take your medicine and deal with it."
Oh my God.
He's not coaching anymore.
No.
His name is Guy Witten. He's
okay.
He started the program at Wilton years ago. They had one of the first 4 programs in the state, and I remember clearly. It was my first year. It was in '96, and I was at Hand High School. I coached in Hand prior to Brantford.
How long were you at Hand?
4 years.
Okay.
4 years. What a different animal at Hand High School, I would say.
It really? What's that?
Different animal. They expect more. Mm-hmm. They expect more. It's a very proud, athletic town that expects more. And I'll base it on the boys programs, because I did coach football there with Steve Philippone, who's not the head coach anymore, but back then he was. So they just expect more. I would like the same thing to be in Brantford. I would like that expectation to be the same. I'm not saying that we don't want to win.
Right.
But overall, collectively, through the whole town, I would say that the tradition and so on is expected more.
Over your career, do you have a favorite memory or favorite coaching memory of being in a game or coaching a game?
I'll go with 2003.
Okay.
We won the championship at Brantford. It was our 3rd season. Well, actually our 4th year, because we started in 2000. So our 4th season. And we won 9-8 against our arch rival, Amity, in the state championship in triple overtime.
Oof.
Unbelievable. And one of the kids that played for us then is now an assistant for Brian Atkins at Foreign.
Yep.
And another kid that played in that game is the head coach at Notre Dame West Haven. So it's such a huge brotherhood.
It is.
That we have. There are, I think, 7 guys that have coached with me that have now moved on either as assistants somewhere else or head coaches. And that's pretty special to be able to continue that.
It is. And how obviously you guys are in another division. So how's your division as far as team-wise?
The SEC is very good.
Okay.
We deal with Prep and Cheshire and Guilford and Hand. I'm not sure why Prep's in it, being so far away, but those teams are very good. I will joke with Brendan and say that we would have 13 wins if we were in what do they call it in the Shoreline?
Yes.
Yeah, they call it the Shoreline. So and he goes, yeah, I know, but over the years Morgan has played Trumbull. Yeah. And Summers, and the teams that are good like that, Waterford,
Yeah.
So they're not. I will joke with them. They're not hiding. But the SEC is competitive.
Is it?
I would say in all sports.
Yeah, I remember because the joke between Brendan and I is, even though if it's either football or lacrosse, he'll say to me, "Hey, we got to go up to your favorite town in the state." I'm like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "We got to go to Granby. We got to go to Ellington." It's like, what a long bus ride. We did it for football last year, and we're doing it again for football, I think, again for JV or varsity this year. Brendan and I were looking at the schedule together the other day. He's like, we got to go to Ellington and we got to go to Granby this year. I'm like, JV or varsity? He's like, JV. I'm like, he's like, varsity's coming down here. I'm like,
those are long rides.
Oh, I look at him like, oh, fun. He's like, you and I are on a bus together for...
It's a good hour, right?
Hour and a half. Which is always fun. It's like,
I remember taking a ride to Ridgefield, Connecticut.
Okay.
And there's no easy, really way to get there on a bus.
Oh, no.
The bus at some point for about 20 miles goes about 40 miles per hour tops. Mm-hmm. And they won the state championship against Darien this year.
Yep.
So they've always had a pretty good team. The Brantford team went in there and we beat them 14-0.
Really?
They didn't know what hit them, and that was back in '07. And so we shook hands, classy organization there at Ridgefield.
Yep.
Coach says, hey, do you mind if I talk to your guys? No, go right ahead. And he didn't have one bad thing to say. He was just shocked and also impressed because it was a new program still. It was only in its 7th year. And for us to do some of those things against an FCAC team, it kind of helped us up. Kind of put us on the map a little bit.
I was looking at something the other day at home, and I ran across a picture. Your guys, my guys, and all the coaches on our field together.
That says something, right?
Oh yeah.
With all the negativity we have,
it's
like
everybody
that
together.
Helps out. Definitely helps out.
It does help out, and I actually ran across another picture. It's my guys and Coach Atkins. We were down at Foran for a scrimmage, and somebody was like, "Why don't we get a picture of everybody together?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I threw somebody my phone. I'm like, "Here, take this." I'm like, "Okay," and we posted it because Brendan for lacrosse, he has me doing all his social media stuff. So
that's good.
Post it, tweet it, and everything.
I don't think I've tweeted once.
No,
I'm not into the tweet.
Yeah, no, I'm not that big on Twitter. Everyone. I
don't even know if I know how to do it.
I fudge the Twitter account every once in a blue moon. I basically just use it to post scores on the CIAC website. Jim May, we're out of here.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.
We'll see you soon.
Absolutely, anytime.
On behalf of Jim May, I'm Pete Mazzetti. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.